Well, hello, my name is Jim Royal. I'm a huge Beatles and Elvis Presley fan and basically classic rock in general. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and smash that bell. Also, feel free to leave comments. I always enjoy reading them and I do my best to try to respond in a timely manner. Today what I wanted to do is I wanted to do a video fantasy album, a what if. What if John Lennon had lived? Now I'm getting this idea completely from a channel on YouTube that I watched yesterday. It's a brand new channel called Hands Across the Water. It is a Beatle-inspired channel that was formed by other YouTubers that have existing channels. Andy Nichols from Two Legs and Beatley Tone has his own channel, and then there's another gentleman who has his too. So I would recommend you checking out their channels. They're excellent. I enjoy watching them. And this is an idea that I'm taking from them, and I'm giving credit where credit is due. Okay? So what we're going to be looking at here is what if John Lennon had never died on December 8th, 1980? What if he was still around in 1982? Okay? The Beatles decided to get back together and they recorded an album. And this would be my fantasy reunion album. So this is really a great idea, and I like this a lot. Okay, I am going to call this fantasy album Full Circle. So what we have here is we're going to have some rules for it. First of all, the two tribute songs about John, can't use those. You have Here Today from Paul McCartney, from Tug of War, can't use that one because John is still alive. And you can't use All Those Years Ago from George from Somewhere in England. Alright, so let's take a look and see what we have here. We can take anything off of here from John. This is a John Lennon Yoko Ono album, Milk and Honey. This was released January 1984 after John had passed. We can also take a look at John's Bermuda tapes from 1980, and we can also look at his late 70s demos that he recorded at his home at the Dakota. Here we go, Paul McCartney, Tug of War. This was released 1982. Some say this is one of his celebrated, it was a comeback album and one of his best records. I would agree. In fact, this ties as my favorite with Band on the Run. Then we have Pipes of Peace from 1983. I'm including this because half of this album was recorded during the sessions for Tug of War. And then we have Somewhere in England. This was from 1981 for George. And then we have his follow-up album, Gone Truppo, recorded in 1982. And then, last but not least, we have Ringo Starr, Stop and Smell the Roses from 1981. Okay, so that's what we have. Now, I did something a little different at the last minute. I'm going to have 16 songs on here. I was originally going to do 14, but I thought these other two songs were special that they should go on there. So I am going to start the album off with Free as a Bird. Okay, because the Beatles finally did record this. So this is going to start off the album. It is a nice demo that John had recorded in the late 70s. I'm including that. Nice tune. The next song is Tug of War. This opens up the album for Tug of War. And I just really love this. At the beginning, you know, you hear the band or the orchestra tuning up. I just really like it. It's just really nice. And I like the lines, you know, push it, pull it, you know, push it, pull it, pull it. You know, that Paul sings in the background. I can imagine John and George and maybe even Paul singing it, you know, together. Take It Away is the next song. This is such a fine, fine song. One of my favorite from Paul's. This is just really nice, and it's true that he had Ringo Starr on drums on here and Beatle producer George Martin on piano. I just love it. It's so Beatle-y to me. It's feel-good music. It takes me back to that time in 1982, so I had to have it somewhere, you know, up there. Then we also have the next one, I'm Stepping Out. This is John Lennon from Milk and Honey. I like this one a lot too. This is after 5 years of, bringing up baby, raising his son Sean, semi-retired. He is, going to have an evening out, and he's going to, go to the bars, just have a nice time, maybe do some dancing, because he doesn't get out much anymore. He's taking care of his child, right? Making the bread. So that one is a nice song. The next song is called Life Itself. This is from George from somewhere in England. This is, I would say it's a spiritual song. It's a ballad. I would even call it a love song, Life Itself. A real catchy tune off of that album. The next song is I Don't Want to Face It. This is John from Milk and Honey. John is just doing an up-tempo song. I'm going to paraphrase here, but it says, you're a leader of a big old band. Say you want to save humanity, but it's people that you just can't stand. I don't want to face it. And then he sings in there, he says, I can play for my supper, but I just can't make it. I mean, those are just fun lines in there. I like it. You got an up-tempo, nice Beatle-y type sounding album to me. The next song is Rack My Brain. This is a Ringo song that was written by George Harrison. It was released off of Stop and Smell the Roses. I like it. It's another up-tempo, feel-good song that we like from Ringo. And then finally, closing side one is That's the Way It Goes. This is a single that was from George from Gone Truppo. Just as the title says, that's the way it goes. Oh well, that's the way it goes. I like that. Now we're going to start off the second half. Side two, we're going to start with Ballroom Dancing. Ballroom Dancing also starts off side two of Tug of War. It is an up-tempo, piano-driven, and just real musical song. It's very reminiscent. It's nostalgic. Looking back, I would say basically the Beatles generation, their parents' generation. The dance halls in England at the time. I'm sure that they were, just old enough to remember that. Maybe they were little kids and they had, seen this. So it is just a really fine record, and I think it would belong on any Beatles album. Nice up-tempo. The next song is called Nobody Told Me. This is a song that was originally, this and a song called Life Begins in 40 were going to be given to Ringo for his Stop and Smell the Roses album. John was actually going in the studio January of '81. It was already booked with Ringo to record these songs. But in this case, I'm going to say, yeah, you know what, he held back. He decided it was too good, and he recorded it himself. This was recorded during the, all of these Milk and Honey songs were recorded, I believe, August of '80 during the Double Fantasy sessions when they started. So Nobody Told Me is really good. The line is, there's UFOs over New York, and I'm not surprised, which was supposedly something that happened to him in 1974, that he witnessed a UFO. Nice song, and a wonderful single from Milk and Honey when it came out. Keep Undercover is the next song. This is from Pipes of Peace. This was recorded during the sessions of Tug of War. I like how it starts off as a slow piano number, and then you've got the fiddles going, and it turns into an up-tempo one, and you got the piano going. It's just fun. Keep Undercover. Back Off Boogaloo. This is kind of probably a surprise for, fans of the Beatles, but this is a 1972 original single from Ringo that at the time George Harrison produced and plays on, even though I have a feeling that George may have helped a little with the music. In fact, I would be most certain of it. Well, Ringo re-recorded in 1981 for Stop and Smell the Roses, and I just thought it would be a nice treat to look back at nostalgia and to tackle something to me that sounded like the Beatles anyway, because you already had two of them on there. Mystical One, this one most of you might not be aware of. This is off of Gone Truppo. This is, I would call it a spiritual song again, which is something that, we expect from George often. Also a love song. And I would say just kind of being appreciative of life and those that we cherish and things that matter most to us in life. And I think that is one, and I would encourage you to check that out. Now we're going to do something a little different. We're going with a reggae number, Borrowed Time. This was also from Milk and Honey, John Lennon. John Lennon was a big fan of reggae, like Bob Marley and Peter Tosh, and I'm sure other reggae. But you know who else was? Paul McCartney. And I could see the Beatles, you know, tackling a reggae type song. And this one is definitely a strong number from Milk and Honey. Then we have Wanderlust, the ballad, a nice ballad from Paul from Tug of War. Wanderlust is a nice piano song, and I like some of the backing. I can imagine, you know, that the Beatles are harmonizing, you know, the "Where did I go wrong, my love? What petty crime was I found guilty of?" You know, something like that. And in, you know, in the actual record, you have Paul overdubbing his voice, you know, his vocals. So he has several of his voice. But I could see the Beatles doing that in a nice way to end the album almost. We've got one more song, a surprise, Real Love. Okay? Another one of those Beatles songs recorded during the anthology. I really like it too. And it's John from the late 70s. But here he is here. So this album, like I said, is called Beatles Full Circle. It's produced by George Martin, the Beatle producer, and engineered by the Beatle engineer Jeff Emmerich. So I want to thank you for watching this video. Had John Lennon lived, that would have been spectacular, and I believe they would have done new music together. I'm curious about your thoughts and your track listing, so leave them in the comments below. Thank you for watching my video. Take care. Bye.